And we're going to stay on this still now to the White House, where the Biden administration is keeping an eye on the situation at the southern border. As we mentioned earlier, President Biden is shifting towards new immigration policies. For the latest, we are joined by NBC News Digital senior White House reporter Peter Nicholas. Peter, good morning. Thanks for being here with us. So first, just tell us what we can expect to hear or see from President Biden on this today, and tell us about this new plan, Title 42's replacement, Title 8.
Well, President Biden has a meeting scheduled today with the president of Spain. So he'll have bilateral meetings and discussions that will involve Ukraine. But this issue is front and center for the White House right now. We saw Secretary Mayorkas come to the White House, Homeland Security Secretary, come to the White House yesterday, try to explain this to reporters. And what we're seeing from the White House is really, I think, an attempt to shift the blame here to Congress, to say that, yes, there's going to be a surge in migrants trying to cross the southern border. Yes, it's going to be chaotic and messy, but it's really up to Congress to provide more resources to the government so that they can handle this influx, and also pass comprehensive immigration reform, measures that would provide, say, a path to legal citizenship for people living in the country illegally. And we haven't really seen Congress muster the will and the appetite to try to pass such legislation. So that's essentially the message coming from the White House.
So before Title 42 expired last night, we had heard from Biden's Homeland Security Secretary, Alejandro Mayorkas. We played some sound from him throughout the morning, including him saying our borders are not open. Tell us more about what we heard and what he's focusing on regarding immigration as we move into this phase this morning.
Well, he's trying to deter people from coming across the border. He understands that there are 10,000, 11,000 people trying to cross every day. I mean, this is well beyond the capacity of the U.S. government to respond to. So he is trying to send out a strong, clear message that people should not attempt to cross the border at this point, that they're now that Title 8 is in place, Title 42 has expired. They're subject to criminal penalties. There's a 5-year ban on reentry if they try to cross the border illegally. So he's trying to use deterrence, sticks rather than carrots, to encourage people not to come and maybe relieve some of the strain and the pressure on U.S. border agents who are just dealing with an untenable situation.
Let you go, Peter. Before I let you go, I do also want to just switch gears here and ask you, while I've got you, about the debt ceiling fight going on in Washington, the drama around it. President Biden was supposed to meet with congressional leaders today, but that's been postponed, according to sources. What can you tell us? I mean, the U.S. is looking to avoid this potentially crippling default next month. We have not really seen any progress. Now a meeting being delayed. What do we know?
Well, what we know is President Biden had said there was going to be a meeting with congressional leaders from both parties today. That meeting has been postponed. The message from the White House is that there are private talks happening at the staff level, so talks haven't completely broken down. But there was a meeting Tuesday, and there was a lot of build-up to it, and there was a lot of anticipation, and really nothing happened. The ball was not advanced, and we only have about 2-3 weeks before the debt ceiling, before we may enter into default unless Congress can lift the debt ceiling. President Biden next week is scheduled to go to Japan and Australia, so he may be out of pocket. So it's clock is ticking.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.